Mhm. Hey, Boop. You're a Hunts ace. Anyway, it's a well-known fact that a Hunts is actually this shape. Not long. Hunts are squeezed. If you mean Hunters is something I have zero care about, then yes, you do have it right there. The animal, the tail is there. Hang on, let me unlock the preview and resize it. The tail is there. It is merging in with the butt because of the angle of the photo. I'm not sure why it seems that I don't like working on a white background for one thing. So that's why I have the blue background. Because when you're staring at a screen for hours, having a bright white background is painful. Which is why I go for the blue. I either go for a blue or something along that, but even that's a bit bright, at 10 p.m. You're too much, Hans. I want things from the side so we can actually, mess with the construction and see how they're put together. Oh, look, it's Ace Beanie. You can change it. If you're on, I don't know about mobile, but on desktop, there should be a thing on the right hand side of the screen that lets you pick. Yeah, if it's mobile, I have no idea because I don't use mobile. One of these days, I need to put in a channel point redeem for like 20,000 points to get your own individualized stream avatar made. Well, technically, you do get a Pokemon license. You get given the card when you get given the trainer card when you go to the first place where you pick up the Pokemon. So technically, you do get a license as a trainer. If you're not a trainer and you're just a person that owns one, well, that's a different thing. I'm not American, but I know there are quite a few Americans that probably would give their 13-year-old child a Glock as a present. I think they're called Texans. I'd honestly be more concerned about the fact that a 13-year-old child can catch God. Because let's face it, most of the 13-year-olds are going to catch caterpillars. And that's going to be the furthest they ever go. Like, can you imagine being one of the Elite Four? You're there with, your normal ass Pokemon, your jellyfish and your dragons and not even dragon like true dragons, but just like things that kind of look like them but don't have a dragon type. And you're like, oh, a new challenger's turning up. Oh, they're 13. How bad can they be? And they start throwing out gods. At that point, you might as well just say, you know what? I'm not going to put my Pokemon through this torture. You win. Whatever. You caught God in a ball. Just, just put your name on the wall and get the fuck out. You're taking this far too seriously. You've gone and captured the thing that created the universe. How can anyone cope with fighting that? Just go ahead, go ahead. Just stick your name on the wall of fame where it's going to say that you won because you own God. They would have Mewtwo, and they would have Mewtwo properly trained with EVs and IVs and all of the like metagame shit done, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so gonna win it," and they'd be so full of themselves. And you could tell that at that point in the Pokemon universe, every single gym leader would have gone with one of the gimmick builds. The ones that you see occasionally like pop up that people have played on like the whatever the Pokemon website is where you can fight other people. I don't know what it's called. I don't bother with that stuff. But occasionally you'll see people that have got six of the same Pokemon and they're all trained the same way and they're all made to be an absolute pain. That is how gym leaders would be in a real Pokemon world. Because they'd be fed up with people walking in with Mewtwo and wiping the floor with them and going, oh, fine, have the damn badge. They'd make them put up a fight. Oh no, what's this? A Snorlax with the usual abilities I have given them, and leftovers, and everything that makes them just tanky as hell. Oh no, you made it fall unconscious. Have another Snorlax with the exact same build. As a Snorlax with rest, rollout, sleep talk, and I think defensive curl is pretty much my go-to favorite Pokemon that I have, just because I like Snorlax anyway. Reminds me of me being the lazy fuck that I am. But just being able to have a Pokemon that can beat things up in its sleep, it's just wonderful. Oh, you know, you hurt my Pokemon. Let me just make it go to sleep and still be able to attack by talking in its sleep. It uses sleep talk. Either it defensive curls and makes it harder to kill, and also powers up rollout, or it uses rollout. Or it tries to sleep again. But, yeah. It's still tanky enough to not worry. I have not played a Pokemon game in a year. Well, actually, no, I think I tried doing a Nuzlocke last year and then just got bored. Hey, Lord. I think if the Pokemon's worked on people, there'd be an entire section of the police devoted to kidnapping. But you never see that on Pokemon, so I don't think that works. Because I know that if you try using a Pokeball on someone else's Pokemon, it just doesn't work. So I assume it's a safeguard in the ball. So I'd assume that the same thing is there for people. We do know that guns exist in Pokemon from that one episode where someone points a gun at Ash. Yeah, there is one of the. I think it might have been one of the ones that was banned in America or re-edited in America to not show it. But at one point, someone just walks in and points a pistol at Ash. Which was a gun would be a really good thing to have in the Pokemon universe. Oh no, Team Rocket is sending a Pokemon at me. Bang. Trainer uses gun. It's super effective. Oh yeah, I was there when the Yu-Gi-Oh things were being shown, and you had people pointing at people, and they just had erased the gun from the scene. Having two Secret Service looking people walk in and just point at a character menacingly was very confusing as a child. And then you find out it's because 4 kids were like, oh, we can't show people pointing a gun at a child. That's terrible. Oh, yeah, in the Shadow Realm, it's just because the 4 kids again didn't want to show people just dying. I mean, to be fair, I actually like the idea of a Shadow Realm thing for Yu Gi Oh! More than just the people die if they lose the game. Because the idea of the Shadow Realm was at least you could come back from it. Well, they never. I don't think they ever explained how it happened in Yu Gi Oh! But I don't know how they managed to put Yu Gi Oh's grandfather's soul onto a VHS tape. That one's confusing. I don't think that was ever answered as to how they did that. In the first series, in the first season of Yu Gi Oh! I think it was the first one, possibly the first or the second. At some point, someone beats Yugi's granddad in a Pokemon in a Yu-Gi-Oh fight and puts Yu-Gi-Oh soul into a VHS tape because you can see Yugi's grandfather on a TV screen going Yugi. And so Yugi has to fight to save. Yeah, it's ancient Egyptian weirdo magic stuff. But that's the most explanation you get from it. I don't understand how the Egyptians had access to VHS tapes. But yeah, we don't question those things. Honestly, my idea would be just like getting a large magnet next to it and see what happens. Oh, thank you for the resub, Buggy. The bread boy. Not to be confused with the bread femboy. No one ever rewound the VHS. That's a complete lie. What would happen is you would say you would rewind it. You'd say you'd rewind that VHS, but you'd forget to, and then the next time you went to watch it, you would be annoyed because you didn't rewind it earlier, so you now had to rewind it before you could watch the film, which could take anywhere up to like 5 minutes, depending on how long the VHS was. I didn't say anything, Keze. I didn't say a thing. You're just imagining stuff. Purely imagining. Yeah, my throne is empty because I did have one thing on there that Ezzy bought for me, and it never turned up. And it is annoying because it was like, I think $50 Ezzy spent on it, and they just lost it. And so I'm like, you know what? Not even going to bother. The idea of throne is amazing, but they don't hold any responsibility for if things go missing. They say contact the supplier. The supplier's Japanese. They don't know what the hell's going. You know, don't know Japanese, and they might not know English. How the hell am I going to describe? Oh, someone bought me a thing, and it never turned up. What are they going to do? Send me another one, and I have to wait for 3 months to see if it turns up again. Oh, thanks for the following, Mo. No, Ezzy, it never arrived. From what I can see, it got into England. It ended up somewhere outside of Birmingham, and then it vanished. And I think the problem was what should have happened is I should have been, normally, if this was me buying it, I would have been contacted by the post service saying, you owe some custom fees. Pay them and you can have your item. But because it was done through Throne, they would have sent the email to the people that technically, quote unquote, bought it. And that purchase was by Throne. And so Throne would have had that email. Oh my god, Ezzy, what the hell are you doing? 50. Oh my. You. Why? Why, Ezzy? Why? Why? Why do you do that? You did not need to sub and give that many subs. See, Ginger gets one, Boop gets one. Legend of Cash, I've never seen them in chat, so I don't know why they got a sub. They might be a lurker, I don't know. L got one, Zero got one, Ham got one. Oh, Sheepa's mom got one, that's wonderful. Glitzo, haven't seen Glitzo in chat. They might again be a lurker. Ezzy, stop it. Ezzy. Who else got one? Ash got one, Frop got one. Nico got one again. Nico, not seen in chat. Might be a lurker. Jigsalon, I think, not subbed, followed a couple of days ago from a shout out on Chubb stream. Dolo got one. Oh, Lomplom got one. Joshi got one. Cookie got one. Oh, you gave one to Ace Beanie. Oh, terrible. Ampharos got one. Ampharos is from Chubb's chat. I know they followed me today. Same with Map to Raptor. KMO, obviously, is here today. Marla got one. Snails got one. You got the new box drip. You did indeed get the new box drip. You. I don't know why you do this, Eddie. But I will have the drink. I mean, I ate a while ago, but I'm not feeling good enough to gift 25 gift subs to someone. Absolute mad lad. Why have you been up for 24 hours? That is asking to be making bad decisions like... Ezzy is just mad. Normally these gift subs would have gone on Seb, but Seb hasn't been streaming, so you can't give them to Seb, can you? So you're giving them to me. I'm not even going to attempt to construct horns. You are utterly mad, Izzy. I love you, but you're absolutely mad. You're not balling, you're probably high on Monster right now. Although I like money, but I'm also aware that, I am just a person drawing random shit on the internet. I don't do this for I have a job for money. Droop Snoot, the ranch. Is that your answer to everything, Ezzy? Sometimes I think it is. Because this annoying, I think, yak is standing in mud. I can't tell if I got the leg proportions of this right. But I have a feeling I did not get the proportions right. Monster as in drink, or monster as in spooky thing, or sexy thing, depending on your thoughts about monsters. Just reminds me of the I can't remember if it was a Tumblr image or a 4chan image where someone says, "What does monster taste like?" And someone assumed they meant monster as in an actual monster and said, "I suppose it depends on what kind of monster it is." And they were like, "Hang on, wait, are you talking about like Monster Calm?" It's oh, is it a Discord? What I know it's from something, and it amuses me every time. Honestly, it depends on the circles that you hang around in. Yeah, I know that some of the groups that I'm in, they talk about monsters sexually more than they talk about the drink. And so it would not surprise me if, when mentioning what does monster taste like, someone would think that. I mean, I know that I am a basic bitch when it comes to monsters. I like the red and the white no sugar ones. So the no sugar berry and the no sugar, I guess, original ones. But the ones we don't get many of them in England, to be honest. Our selection of monsters is kind of, you know, we get the no sugar white one, the no sugar red one. We get the one that's purple, which is revolting. I don't know what flavor it's meant to be. It tastes of purple, and I can't vibe with that. I think we also get the watermelon one, which is also horrible. It's time to do one of these things challenge with an actual challenge and try and do it 3D. Because every other one has been side on. Oh, it's got its legs crossed at the back, so it's really hard to tell which bit's meant to be which. Oh, thank you. I do try and have good vibes. And it's nice to have someone actually clarify that I am good vibes. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for the follow, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. And I'm assuming Americans, so happy Thanksgiving. We don't do that over here, but I hope you have a load of turkey and enough potato to put you into a food coma. I believe those are the typical traditions for Thanksgiving. Bye bye. Take care. Okay, well, I did not mess doing that 3D one up as much as I expected I would have. The head's a little off. I feel like the head needs to be longer. Did not anticipate. Remember the fact that that was going to mess up the vague amount of perspective I had on there. That is what having too many carbs will do to you. Everyone blames the tryptophan, but there's not enough tryptophan in the normal amount of turkey that you eat that would actually make you tired. It's the carb crash from all the potatoes and all the sweet sauces. See, it's kind of sad that snails never got to test the turkey, because I know he was planning on doing the turkey this year, but then I think he had plans and so couldn't actually be around at his place to actually do the turkey at home, and he didn't have people around that could also eat part of the turkey. One of these days, I need to do more work on actual anatomy rather than just like basic construction like this. It's on the list of things to do. So I know that like horses have like the massive shoulder blade, which is why some Shire horses have like absolutely massive freaking legs. Like their shoulder meat could feed an entire village for a month with how much meat is on that thing. I mean, it wouldn't be nice because it'd be, tough muscle, but still. But I know full well that knowing like the actual anatomy and like the right bones and everything will actually help with all of this stuff. Especially when it comes time to getting back into the actual design of our own creatures for Rise of Embers. Because knowing that every one of these ones we've done so far we've got obviously a rib cage and a pelvis. There's usually, depending on the animal, it's usually, I think I think for horses, this one here is the elbow, and then this is the wrist joint, and then they're on their knuckles, or on their like tiptoes, essentially. And their hoof is all of their toenails merged together into a very weird hand shape. So their shoulders up here, their elbows here, their wrist is here. Whereas with some of them, the shoulder is here, the elbow is here, and it's, you know. But then there are some actually, I don't think all of the ones we've done today have been ungulates or hooves of some kind. So they've all got that same basic. Oh no, no, tell a lie, this one doesn't. I think with this one, it's one of the ones that is almost the same as the other ones we've been drawing. So it still has the shoulder, and like the elbow is still that first joint you see, and then the wrist is here, and then it has the hooves there being the knuckle, but they've got like similar to how pigs have got the trotters. That's the fingers, and so it's the knuckle joint that's here. Whereas things like the giraffe and the horse, the knuckle joint and the hoof is all kind of in the same line, all sort of fused together. I mean, I know that they can like kind of like shift the hooves around a bit, which is basically where the wrist would be. I think, if my anatomy is vaguely correct. So shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then the fingers and the knuckles are all merged together into the hoof. It is really weird when you look at all of the different mammals because we have the exact same bones. All of these creatures have the exact same bones. They're just different sizes, and that's what makes them different. So yeah, they all have the humerus. They all have the ulna and radius in the forearm. Technically, the bones do still exist for things like horses in the hooves, but they've kind of turned into little tiny blobs that are all like merged together rather than being full on fingers like we have. And obviously, they've got the rib cages, everything has that. They've all got the pelvis, and it's all based on like shape, which is one of the reasons why like some of the fundamental things we've done in the previous art streams, like just drawing a box from different angles, that box can be the basic basis of a pelvis. And all it takes if you're like trying to design something, from scratch, you can do a long and tall pelvis or a short stubby pelvis. or a thin pelvis, depending on what shape you make these things. So, you could quite easily, do that, and it's just like a quite, tall body. This one could be more of a squat one. But this could be more like a crocodile. And it's just like there is a bit of reasoning behind why a lot of like basic art things say learn how to draw the basic three shapes and how to move them around in 3D. Because once you can do that, you can get a lot better at constructing things. And once you're better at constructing things, you don't need as much reference. Probably still good to have some. Yeah, if I tried drawing a horse without a horse picture to look at, to see the basic principles, like the basic perspective and yeah, the proportions of them and things like that, I would make the legs way too long. That's one thing I've noticed I do a lot when I'm trying to sketch things is I draw horses like this. I give them legs that are way too long for the body and end up having to tweak them afterwards. Or I make the torsos too thin when like I'll draw them like half the size, half the thickness they should be. Because I'm just not used to drawing them from memory. It's like even this horse, this is not as deep as far as I can tell. It should be probably more like this, or at least somewhere in between. Or the top bit should be higher up. I don't know. But again, it's one of the reasons why we do these practices. I mean, like I say, at some point, what I should do is get like the side on view of the actual skeleton, try and do it from that. Because it's nice to try and do these construction things from a photo because you train the observation skills with this. When looking at that buffalo, it was like trying to work out not only the shape but the rotation of the box that would make the rib cage. And the same with the pelvis, I got completely wrong, I think, but it was a worthy attempt. And the head, working out, okay, the box would be this shape and it would be in this kind of rotation. You do it often enough, you will get better at it. It's doing it often enough that I have the issue with. I mean, we've been doing this for what? An hour and 20 minutes almost? I'd say an hour and 15 because I did do like about 5 minutes of warm up while the starting ad was running. And in that time, we've done one, two, three, four, five, six, seven in an hour and 15 minutes. And there are people out there that could just knock this exact same amount of work out in like 2 minutes per bit. So within half an hour, they can have had all of this done because they just know the shapes off by heart. They know the positions. They've drawn them often enough that they could just say, "Oh, I want to draw a bison." Oh well, we know that they're gonna have like this shape for the rib cage. A little pelvis bit here. You know, leg, leg, and so on, and then like big fat head. They could probably draw them like that quite quickly. Wouldn't you? Because they know the shapes. I mean, this looks more like like a stretched hippo. Like if I did this, it would look more like a rhino or a hippo. Yeah, I do want to start moving more into doing this rather than just playing games. Because this is originally what I had planned to do a year ago, back when I first started. Back when I first started streaming, the plan was to just stream art, purely art. Maybe the occasional bit of gaming on a weekend. Because that way it forced me to practice, because I would be practicing every day on stream. And it would also give me a reason to get better, because I would want to make sure that I didn't look stupid on streams. So much so that I still have it as an actual reference. I don't. Let's see if I can remember how to add. Okay, so add image. Now where did I keep this? Was it under learning reference? Because if so, oh, is this it? Did I call it cur for curriculum? I hope I did. Okay, so where is it? Okay, it's a long image. That much I know. Why isn't it showing? Is it just because it's massive? Is it just taking a while to show? I mean, this image is pretty massive. Yep, this is definitely the right image. Because it's long. But annoyingly, it's not actually showing it. Why? Because it is an image. Let's try opening it from a different location. Just in case it did not like opening it. No, no, it's still being a pain. Why are you not actually showing? Okay, yeah, I know it's an absolutely massive image. Okay, this is irritating. Why is it not? Why is it not showing up? It's literally just an image. Why are you not? Why are you not being nice to me? Okay, so it's not that it's hiding behind that. So yeah, that was a good thing to check. Right, I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna try adding it again. So image, make source visible. That's selected. Create new. Open the format. It just does not want to show this image. Is it just because it's so goddamn massive? It could be that it's just because it's such a massive file. In terms of dimension, it's not an actual like large file size. It's just a large file in terms of sizing. So if it won't work as an image, can I do it as a window capture? Nope, that's definitely not the right one. It also doesn't want to do it via pictures. Okay, if you want to be like this, OBS, then we'll brute force this. We'll open it here and witness how massive this thing is. It's a long image. But this is what I originally wanted to do on the stream, starting like last year. It's been put together, I think, by Modern Day James. He's a YouTuber. It does a lot of really good tutorials if you want, like, not so much for like basic tutorials, but for like more, you kind of know what you're doing, but you're not good yet. So like you know how to draw shapes in the right sort of angles. It this is the kind of like intermediate sort of stuff, intermediate to expert sort of stuff he goes through on the YouTube tutorials that he's done. But this person, I'm not sure if they've like taken it, like if this advice is just from modern day James, or whether he's the one that did the whole thing and he just goes by Radio Runner on Reddit. I don't know. But either way, this person made a curriculum for self-taught artists, basically like 3 years worth of study, doing it yourself, with each of these being a term that lasts a couple of months each. And I did want to go through them. Yeah, so that we could, we would start with figure drawing and perspective, storytelling, and we'd go through them all. Going down the bottom, it kind of explains how long it takes, how long you're meant to take on each bit. Even if you aren't finished, only do so much, like do 2 months of it if it says 2 months. And then it kind of breaks down what the thing is. So, like for figure drawing, it's going through the Proco course, which is it's a good course to go through. Even the free one, which is the one I've gone through, is good to go through. Obviously, if you've got the money, go for premium. Get extra stuff in there. But it tells you like YouTube videos to go through, any books that you might want, and then challenges to go. I mean, this Croquis Cafe gesture sessions doesn't exist anymore. I've tried looking, but 30 days of gestures. That's it's going to be the same either way. Just find some way to do gesture drawings like line of action that I use. And the whole thing was, like I say, I wanted to go through this on stream, see if record all of the streams over the course of 3 years to see this is where we started, this is where we ended, here's all the exercises that we did we get better? And anyone else could follow along as they wanted. And then I kind of got into the whole playing games more than doing art. But at some point, I would like to try going through this. Because, some of this stuff, like Intro to Animals, that would be really good for what we're trying to do. The Light and Colour book by James Gurney is a damn good book. I have it on my bookshelf full of art books that I haven't looked at for a while. They're just there to make me feel like I'm being productive. Now, character design, storytelling, not so much help, but still worth learning, depending on what you want to do. So, like I said, I did want to go through this, and at some point, I probably will go through this incredibly long curriculum. And there is a link to it under the video, under, I think, curriculum. That I put there expecting that we might actually use it at some point. And then a year passes and I just spend the time playing Dredge and Raft and Factorio because I like those games. But we've got some decent stuff done today. The whole point of what I wanted to do was I wanted to do some animals, but I didn't want to just like do the sketchy stuff like we did last time of just trying to draw them as they were. I wanted to do some work on breaking them down into boxes, into primitive objects, to make them easier to understand. The best one of these, I think, is the giraffe. It makes it obvious what we were trying to do. We've broken the legs down into cylinders, the rib cage and the pelvis we've turned into boxes. Because now that we've done this, this rib cage, the shape of this side of the box, we know. Is this sort of shape. And the pelvis is that sort of shape. The neck starts around here. So now we could, theoretically, draw this from a different angle because we've worked out, you know, what shapes actually went towards making this thing. And again, it's one of the reasons why doing this like simplification, it's in a lot of the like YouTube videos will tell you simplify your things, and then they won't really explain why. They'll just say simplify things into primitive objects. And then they might show you a side-on view, and it's like, okay, that's wonderful, but explain more. And yeah, it does help you, you know, if you're trying to do this from like a different angle, like from the side, and you know the shapes, you can recreate it from the side. But what they don't often say in the videos is that if you know this, like the side shape, you can kind of work out what the actual 3D one is going to be. Yeah, it's similar to like with the buffalo. We can do the opposite way. We know that, you know, this box, it's kind of like that. And then it's got the head there. It's got like the pelvis at the back. So we can kind of like work it out from a different angle because we know what the shape is. And so yeah, that's what the reasoning behind today's hour and a half of me rambling and talking about random stuff is trying to work out these boxes, the cylinders, all the primitive objects, simplifying these things down so that we can understand the actual animal construction. And so that if we ever did want to, like, say, draw this giraffe in a different angle, which is one exercise I know I should do at some point, like once I've done one of these, is actually like do proper like rotational ones. So keep the same pose of say this giraffe, and then draw it in this. Draw it facing like the opposite way. So we've got like it would that bit would be facing that way. The pelvis would be here, and then the neck is like off in that direction. So it's facing the opposite way and rotating things around like that because that way, once you kind of know the construction, you can make the pose whatever you want it to be. You know, if you've got a reference of a giraffe, you can work out the construction, and then you can put it in the pose that you want for your art. Because you know the proportions, you know the right sort of like lengths of things, you know the positions of things, and you know the shapes of them. You can wiggle them around, make it look like you want it to look. And then as you get better, which I'm not yet, well, I can do okay animals when I like sit there and like do actual effort. But like once you've got the construction bits, you can put the lines over the top for the actual outline of the animal. So yeah, we know you know that the head is like over here. We know that's actually the shape of the leg, and that you know we've just done the bones of it. And then when you remove the construction, you've kind of got the vague outline that you want. and then you can add in the details as needed by whatever it is that you're doing. So there is a method to the madness and a reason why we're trying to do these things. But it is now 1:45, and I. Oh, and as that cough has indicated, my throat is starting to die. So let's have a look. Is there anyone online for us to go raid? See, Chubb's probably finished streaming by now. Oh, look, what a surprise. It's resting. Resting is the only one online at this time of night. As always. So yeah, we'll send everyone over to resting. Playing a bit of Stardew Valley. So yeah, as always, thank you everyone for watching. It's been fun. I've kind of got better at what I was trying to do. I think. Obviously, I need a lot more practice, but that's what these streams are for. But until next time, obviously, past couple of days I've not been great, so I've not been on. Fridays are normally a day off anyway. Depending what happens, I might stream, I might not, to sort of catch up with the fact I haven't done much else this week. But if I'm not on tomorrow, I should be back on Saturday. And at some point, I do need to start grabbing hold of sheep and start doing more of the Rise of Ember stuff. But until then, I shall click Start Raid. We shall be ready to go. And so, yeah, like I say, as always, thank you for watching. It's been fun. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.